Hi, I'm Lee and welcome to the Cellar Door, Australia. Contrary to popular belief, the sun doesn't always shine in the Hunter Valley, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a bad day. We are here today at Piggs Peake Winery and I think it's time to find something to warm us up. We're in the heart of the Hunter Valley, one of Australia's oldest and most celebrated wine regions. Today we're visiting a winery that doesn't just break the mould, it barrels right through it. From the moment you arrive, you'll notice something a little different. A sense of playfulness, a few cheeky surprises, and more than a few nods to a certain farmyard animal. But behind the fun, there's a serious commitment to bold, expressive winemaking, and a story that's just as unique as the name itself.
This is one of the oldest wine growing areas of Australia. I think it was probably established before any other wine growing area. We've been here 27 years. When we came here, this was just vacant block with a lot of trees on it.
Okay, so this is all you.
It's all us.
Yep.
We had a big push on to get the first vintage underway. We only had about 8 months, so we had to clear the block, put a shed up, put some winemaking equipment in, ready for the grapes to come in, and it was quite the push. We ended up actually with just a tin shed. That first year it was a typical hot summer, and that shed was not very well insulated, so it was like a bit of an oven in there. Obviously since then we've grown and developed, and from the very start wanted to have something that we could have fun with, hence the name Piggs Peake. We have run with that right the way through what we've done.
Where did that name come from? Can you tell me a little bit?
Well, initially we were looking around the Hunter for sort of place names that we could use. Nothing we could actually either utilise because it was already taken. We certainly didn't want to go down the track of using our own names. We were struggling with it, to be honest. But then one of the girls that was working here happened to be reading a novel called Power of One, and it's a place name in South Africa, and for some reason it resonated, and we could see that we could do a lot of things with that, and have a lot of sort of plays on the name.
Can you give me some examples?
Well, look, this is bricks. I mean, obviously that comes from Three Little Pigs, because in that particular range there happens to be straw, sticks and bricks.
Nice.
But look, we have things like Silk Purse Fidello. We have Hogshead Chardonnay.
Nice.
More recently, we've got things like Boar Sin. Anyone that comes here looks at the wines and looks at the names, and they find them quirky. Most of that's down to our winemaker, Steve Langham, who's really run with that. It's a great talking point, but it doesn't diminish the quality of what we're trying to do in terms of the wines we're trying to produce.
Yep. And what varieties are you producing here?
Taking grapes from pretty much all the major wine regions in Australia. We love McLaren Vale, but we take wine, grapes obviously from the Hunter, Mudgee, Orange Bathurst, Hilltops. We really go out there looking for fruit that we can turn into what we think is a good quality wine. That's what we want to do.
At Piggs Peake, there's one name that keeps popping up and one man who's behind the wines, the wordplay and a whole lot of character. Steve, affectionately known as Boss Hog, has been head winemaker since 2003. With a background in chemical engineering and a wicked sense of humour, Steve has crafted some of the most talked about drops in the Hunter Valley, often wrapped in names that are as cheeky as they are unexpected. Let's go meet the man behind the pig and find out where he gets his inspiration. Steve, we've heard a lot about you. Lovely to meet you. So obviously there's a theme here with the name, and you brought a lot more names to the wines. What was the first wine that you named here?
The first named wine was the ice wine.
Okay.
So I was making a dessert wine back in 2003, and I looked at all the different dessert wines of the world, and I thought about it, and I thought, is it a late harvest? And it wasn't. And I thought, oh, is it what they call a cordon cut, where you cut the branch the grapes are on and let the grapes shrivel and make a dessert wine? And it wasn't cordon cut. What we'd actually done is like when you buy freeze concentrated fruit juice from the shops, we'd actually frozen water out of the grape juice and then used that super sweet grape juice to make a dessert wine. And I was thinking about it, and I thought it's actually quite similar to what they do in Germany when they make ice wine. And then I thought about it and went, okay, hang on, swine. And so we named it, and that was the first wine that we ever put a pig name to. And everything just has run off that ever since.
That's awesome. So where do you source your grapes from? Because you don't grow grapes here at the winery?
All over the place. So down in South Australia, we've used regions like McLaren Vale and the Barossa, the Adelaide Hills, through New South Wales, Mudgee, Orange, Young out in the ranges, obviously the Hunter Valley, Warhope up on the north coast of New South Wales, and also Moree up towards the border.
Okay.
So yeah, a big wide spread. There's literally 2,000 kilometres from one end of our fruit sourcing to the other.
When all the wine's coming in, what's your philosophy on like how do you pair things? What's your process?
Well, what we do is we have key people in regions like Mudgee, Orange, Young, McLaren Vale, and they're basically acting as spotters for us. And they'll let us know if they find a vineyard, which is fantastic. So in 2023, my spotter in South Australia contacted me, and he said, I've got a Shiraz vineyard planted 143 years ago. Are you interested in getting the fruit off it? I said, well, of course we are.
Yes, please.
So whenever someone's got something interesting, an unusual varietal, an old vineyard, a quality vineyard, we're always very, very keen to bring it in and make it into a wine. And then we start working out what to do with it afterwards. So if you ever walk in here in October, you often find Mark and I running around with little 100mm measuring cylinders. And we'll be putting 30% of something, 50% of something, 20% of something, tasting it, changing it slightly. It is interesting how many of the blends spontaneously reproduce. We just see a pattern over time that certain things, and they're often the classics, Cabernet and Merlot do belong together. Shiraz and Viognier do belong together. Marsanne and Viognier. You see these things that every year seem to always work, but we still trial them. We never assume that they will work. So there's lots of blending opportunities amongst the range.
And with those blending opportunities, is that where you get the names from? How does that work for you? Which do you start with?
Sometimes you have a name and you like the name. I remember my wife always had a name picked out if we had a boy or a girl. And then the child is born and you think, well, it doesn't look like that. So we had one name, I remember, the bush pig. And I wanted to use what they call a bush vine. So a bush vine is where a vine comes out of the ground and then the two shoots are tied above it. And it's freestanding, there's no trellis. So I wanted to make a wine called the bush pig out of a bush vine. But it took me 5 years to actually get my hands on a bush vine vineyard. And we finally got one, and we did make a wine eventually called Bush Pig. Well, we've always tried to keep it a bit left of centre. It'd be too easy just to run with simple things like grunt and squeal. So we've always tried to be a bit more obtuse. So some of the things like the House of Straws, Sticks and Bricks in our Shiraz range, they're good fun. Wines like the Feral Pig. One of my all-time favourite names is our super premium Shiraz Deliverance. And it sometimes takes people a while to work out how there is a pig reference with that one, but there is.
There is. Steve does not miss a single trick when it comes to weaving pigs into everything they do. After the break, we'll head to the Cellar Door with Jared for a tasting and see which of these wines really steal the show. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Cellar Door Australia. It's time to meet Jared, Piggs Peake Cellar Door manager. From stocking shelves as a teenager to now leading tastings, he knows these wines inside and out.
So the first wine is a wine that we make called the Roast Pork. So at Piggs Peake, all of our wines adopt some sort of pig-related name. This is a rosé that we've made from Cabernet grown in Orange. At Piggs Peake, all that we do is make wine. We don't own vineyards or grow grapes. We buy fruit off vineyards around the country. Grapes get sent here, and then we do all of our winemaking here. So this is one of 2 different styles of rosé that we make. It's definitely the more fruit-driven, richer wine. It's a personal favourite of mine. It smells like strawberry bubblegum.
It's really sweet.
Well, it smells sweet, but on the palate, it's much drier than the nose sorts of gives off. But there's so much strawberry, raspberry, red cherry character. So it's a wine that's just got amazing colour. It looks like a light red wine, almost looks like a Pinot Noir.
I wouldn't have picked that as a rosé if I had have just seen it sitting there.
Yeah, no, it's a bit darker than what's more standard. So this is made from Cabernet, from Orange. We'll have the skins soaking in the juice for about 24 hours. And over 24 hours, you do extract quite a lot of colour out of the skins. This wine's incredibly young. I've bottled this earlier today straight out of the tank. It was getting bottled today. So this is the 2025 rose pork. And they're so amazing when they're young, so much just vibrant, pure fruit character.
Oh wow, that's delicious.
There's definitely some sweetness on the palate, but there's still lots of acidity at the end that comes through and dries that out. And it's just a lot of fun to drink. Very picnicky, very summery, very beachy. It's just a wine that screams to be drunk in the sun.
Absolutely, certainly does. So you bottled that today. Obviously that's ready to go and taste amazing. Is that going to keep for me as well?
No, drink now.
Great.
Yeah, it won't improve.
Okay, Jared, well that's delicious. Cheers to the rosé.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks. Enjoy.
It's easier to see why these wines are crowd favourites. But Piggs Peake isn't about flash buildings or polished facades. It's about putting the focus where it matters most. So we went back to Tony to talk about how this place has grown and why sometimes a few well-used tin sheds are all you really need.
Well, we've got essentially a winemaking facility, so it's essentially a tin shed or a few tin sheds dressed up a little bit.
It's a pretty swish tin shed.
Well, they are only tin sheds.
Yeah.
But any money that this business has made has been put back into the winery, and it's gone into the infrastructure, it's gone into the gardens, and it's certainly gone into making sure that we have the quality equipment to make the sort of wines we want to make. To that end, I think the proof's in the pudding, or the proof's in the wine.
In the wine, yeah, absolutely.
Look, we have a cellar door, and we encourage our customers to come in and actually actively learn about what they're experiencing. So we've moved the cellar door into the winery proper, essentially, so that people are amongst winemaking equipment, they're amongst oak barrels, and that's where they do their tastings. They can learn what the processes are involved in making wine. And during vintage, for instance, people can get the chance to participate to some extent. We might have 20 or 30 vats, open fermenters full of red, juicy fruit, and they can get up there and do a bit of plunging. It means that they walk out of here with an experience not only of tasting wine, but what it's like to produce wine. And we also encourage people to join our wine club, which is called the Lucky Swines Club. Now, that allows them to gain access to the first releases from various vintages. It allows them to engage in wine matching with food. It allows them to interact with other people that are enjoying the same thing. We've always taken the view that people and what they like to drink should be a pretty high determinator of what's available. There's no point in them coming here and we're forcing them to drink something that doesn't sort of meet what they might like. If they walk out with something they like, then we've done our job.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
While Tony looks at the bigger picture, it's in the barrel room where the real magic takes shape. We caught back up with Steve to take a closer look at one of his latest creations, straight from the barrel, and to hear the story behind a vineyard with a name that only Piggs Peake could come up with. Okay, Steve, what barrel do we have here?
This is a wine off the affectionately known Tim's Vineyard, one of my favourite vineyards we deal with.
Okay.
Yeah.
How well do you know Tim?
Well, probably over 15 years ago, we got this fruit for the first time. It turned up and the delivery docket said it was Tim's Vineyard, and we made a wine out of it and it was really good. And I said to the guy that got us the grapes, I really like that fruit. I said, we'd like to get fruit from Tim again. And there was just silence. And then he finally said, we don't have any grape growers called Tim. I said, well, last year you sold me 5 tonne of Tim Shiraz and it was really good. Yeah, I'd like to get it again. And he said, no, we don't have any growers called Tim. So there's all this confusion.
Thank you.
And then finally he's gone, oh, Matt. I've gone, Matt? He said, yeah, Matt. I said, I don't understand. He said, oh, Matt, he said he's been doing up this old vineyard around his house and he's been restoring it to health and the fruit's coming along, it's looking really good. But he keeps complaining that he's got all this work, I've got all this shit I've got to do, I've got all this shit I've got to do. So they've ended up, the locals have nicknamed it Tim's Vineyard, which stands for this is more shit that Matt has to do. So this is Tim Shiraz.
All right, to Tim. Okay.
So being from McLaren Vale, you get that big blackberry jam sort of flavour. And this barrel does a very good job of giving a coffee note.
Nice.
So it reminds me of breakfast, the blackberry jam and the coffee. You sort of get those bigger, richer flavours. Yeah. It's only just finishing ferment now. So sometimes you might even just get a little bit of spritz on the tongue, still from the fermentation.
Still doing its thing.
And at the moment, it's very much a diamond in the rough. So through the winemaking between now and next March, we'll be basically cutting and polishing the diamond.
Right.
And getting it ready for
So you'll
bottling.
blend this?
We could do.
Yeah, don't know.
No.
See what happens.
At the moment, it's just a Shiraz.
Yeah.
I think last year we made 16 different Shirazes from this region, as well as Shirazes from all the other regions we deal with. And at the moment, it's just a nice-looking wine. But we'll work out where it goes, probably in October, November.
Steve, thank you so much for chatting to us today. This has been awesome. Really looking forward to seeing where this goes because it tastes great now. So
Pleasure.
have a great year.
Thanks
Cheers.
for coming in. Cheers.
Thank you.
Tim's Vineyard might still be a work in progress, but under Steve's watch, this wine is shaping up beautifully. Coming up next, we swap the barrel thief for the bottle and taste one of Piggs Peake's big hitters, the House of Brick Shiraz, where the pig theme meets serious structure. Welcome back to the Cellar Door, Australia. Coming up, I'll be chatting with Steve about one of my favourite drops of the day, the feral pig. But first, we're back at the Cellar Door with Jared to taste our way through more of Piggs Peake's standout wines.
So the next wine we have is a wine called the House of Bricks Shiraz. To keep the pig theme going, each year we make a wine called the House of Straw. We do a House of Sticks and we do a House of Bricks. Like the nursery rhyme, the wines are also getting bigger, stronger, more powerful, more structured as they go.
That's cool.
So this is one of the classics from Piggs Peake. It's a wine that we've been making here since day one, really. It's big McLaren Vale Shiraz. Think of blackberry, black cherry. We use quite a lot of new oak, which presents with vanilla and coconut and coffee and chocolate. It is quite a big, rich wine, but it's soft. It does have quite a lot of tannin, but it's quite fine tannin. It doesn't feel too dry. And it just adds to this wine that's just big, it's rich, it's chewy. It's fresh black fruits with a lot of nice oak.
That sounds like me.
Yum.
I love a big bread.
Yeah, it's delicious. It's very generous on the palate.
What's that at the back?
I get this
is
like...
it chocolate? No, I don't know.
Yeah, it is. I find this wine shows lots of coffee, chocolate, mocha sorts of characters. There's like that like graphite sort of pencil shavings character coming through from the oak as well.
Yeah.
And then just this lingering, not that the fruit's jammy in nature, it's quite fresh, but just this really richer, riper black fruit sort of thing, which is really lovely. It's a big wine, it's a powerful wine. But it's very soft and it's very smooth at the same time.
And you said McLaren Vale for that one?
That's out of McLaren Vale, that's right.
Nice one. Is there a certain process with that one?
The processes that we go through to make this wine aren't necessarily going to be unique to this wine. What makes a lot of our wines turn out the way they do is just the fruit from the beginning. Over the course of our vintage or our harvest, we might see Shiraz from 20, 25 different sites And then we'll end up blending all of those together to maybe make, 6 or 7 different labels of Shiraz. The quality and the nature of the fruit at the very start will really determine how those wines will look at the end of the day.
Yeah, nice. Well, thank you. I think that is still my favourite so far.
Amazing. It's a good wine.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
One standout for me was the Feral Pig, a big red with a few unusual grape varieties in the mix that you might not have heard of before. So I caught up with Steve to find out how he keeps something this bold balanced and how it all comes together.
Can we talk a little bit more about the Feral Pig? Sorry, that definitely caught my eye. I like
Sure.
that one.
One of the grapes in there is a thing called Saperavi. So if we look at the world and the history of winemaking, the oldest winemaking culture in the world is Georgia over towards Russia.
Yeah.
They've been making wine for 8,000 years. And in that bottle is a Georgian grape called Saperavi.
Never heard of it.
No.
What can we liken that to? Is that something that we...
Well, given the Georgians are the originals,
Yeah.
I think we have to compare things to it.
True.
But what I find really interesting, because sometimes you find the name of the grape tells you a bit about the wine. When you translate Saperavi into English, the direct translation is something like paint or clothing dye. So straight away that gives you some idea what
Yes,
sort of
what
wine
colour.
it is.
Yeah.
It is, if you're not careful with it, it does end up feral. You can make something so big and black and nasty.
Okay.
So we've tried to temper it, and then we've also mixed a grape into it called Lagrine, which is from north of Venice, almost up into Switzerland.
Yep.
And it's a deeply coloured wine, but it's soft and approachable. So we've tried to use that to take the rough edges out of the Saperavi,
Yep.
but it's still big.
So this particular wine, you blend two varieties.
That's right.
And you do that here in-house?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, everything is made on the property. Basically, nothing is grown on the property. So it is a case of sourcing the fruit and bringing it in on a truck,
Yep.
and then making it into wine and then sending it to bottling.
Yep. And so your process here starts from the delivery of the grapes?
That's right. So this wine in particular, the fruit that was grown in McLaren Vale, the Saperavi,
Yeah.
that had the stalks taken out of it in South Australia, and then it was put inside like a milk truck.
Yep.
And I know Adelaide seems like a long way away, but if you've ever driven from Adelaide to the Hunter Valley, there's precisely nothing between us. And there's plenty of opportunity to just do 100 kilometres an hour.
Yeah.
So it is only a 16-hour drive.
Good.
So it's not
Not too bad.
too bad.
Yeah.
So we bring up the Saperavi from there, and at the same time we're picking the Lagrine in Orange out west of Sydney on top of the mountains. When these grapes come in, with the Lagrine we take the stalks out, so both wines now have their stalks removed, and we chill them, and we hold them cold for about 5 days with no fermentation. And what happens is the flavour and the colour dissolves into the grape juice because grape juice has no colour. And over time, over the 5 days, this colour and flavours and body leaches into the grape juice. We do a very short fermentation. So we put yeast in and we stir the tank every 6 hours, but we only do it for a short period of time. Otherwise, the Feral Pig will go really feral.
Feral.
So
It's not smelling feral now.
no.
No.
Well, we did everything we could to make it
Yeah.
as light as possible, and it still comes out huge.
That is delicious.
Yeah, so you're getting those sort of raspberry, blackberry notes, some new sort of vanilla flavours from the oak, new oak.
Lovely.
But yeah, I think it was topping in around 17% alcohol, this one. And then there's that big full palate.
Yum.
It's one
Okay,
of
that's
those
great.
wines that cries out in the dead of
I want
winter
another.
for some sort of slow-cooked beef cheek
Yeah.
or osso bucco.
Fire. Something
Yes.
like that. Yeah,
Yep.
beautiful. Well, Steve, thank you so much. It's been a
pleasure.
pleasure talking to you. I love this story, and I really like your Feral Pig. Cheers.
Cheers.
From bold reds to beautifully balanced blends, Piggs Peake has shown us just how playful and how serious winemaking can be. But before we wrap up for the day, we're heading back to the Cellar Door with Jared for one last activity, and this one involves chocolate.
Okay, Jared, I feel like we've got a bit of a pairing happening here. What have you got for me?
So it's a wine that we make called the Suckling Pig Shiraz. So this is a dessert Shiraz. It's not fortified, so it's only 8%. And it's something that we make to go with chocolate.
Why not?
I know. So it's an awesome wine. Again, Shiraz out of McLaren Vale that's only been fermented for a shorter period of time, which will leave lots of just natural sugars left in the product. It's full of, again, just sweet, jammy, black fruit characters, you know, all the berries, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It is quite sweet. So the idea for the pairing is that we serve it with a dark chocolate. The bitterness of the dark chocolate will make the wine then appear less sweet. As a combination, the whole thing will go down this like cherry ripe or black forest cake sort of road. So the wine itself is amazing, but with the dark chocolate, it's next level.
Okay.
Yeah, so suggest go the wine first.
Wine first, okay.
The chocolate will change the way that you perceive the flavors and the sweetness in the wine.
Yep.
So by tasting the wine first, it'll allow you to experience it by itself. And
then we'll go chocolate.
Have some chocolate, then have some more wine.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers. Okay.
It's delicious, so sweet. Almost just like drinking like cherry juice.
I was going to say, yeah.
Which is, really quite special.
All right.
I would happily just drink it by itself, but with some chocolate.
Chocolate's good.
Chocolate's good.
Okay. There it is.
Yeah, it's quite special.
Oh, that's yum.
Yeah, it's a really good combination. Yeah, so many restaurants offering chocolate-based desserts.
Yeah.
And it's quite hard to find a wine that's really going to pair with those well.
Yeah.
And that was the idea behind this wine, was to make something to go with chocolate. And it works.
Well, you've done it, definitely. That is definitely cherry ripe.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I'm going
Absolutely.
again. Sorry.
Yeah, the chocolate's good too.
Where do you get your chocolate from?
So this is from Callebaut. Belgian chocolate. It's 54.5% dark. We would suggest at home going darker if you prefer dark chocolate.
Yep.
But if we start throwing chocolate at people that's too bitter, we can start to lose some people.
Yep.
So this is a nice middle ground of having enough bitterness to play on the sweetness of the wine
Definitely does.
without being too bitter to scare
Yeah.
people off.
It's a huge difference. That's delicious. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, it's a pleasure. Cheers.
Nice. Ta.
From humble tin sheds to bold, character-filled wines, Piggs Peake has shown us that great winemaking doesn't have to take itself too seriously. We've met the team behind the labels, from Tony's vision and reinvestment into quality, to Steve's creative blending and boundary-pushing varietals, and Jared's welcoming Cellar Door experience. Piggs Peake is playful, it's a little left of centre, but at its heart, it's built on quality fruit and a genuine love of wine.